Maisie Adam, and I'm joined by my co-host Tom Lucy.
Hello.
Welcome to That's a First, the podcast where we talk about our first experiences of everything and anything.
From your first love,
To your first Uber driver,
from your first speeding ticket,
to the first time you realised that death comes to us all.
maybe your first love was your first Uber driver.
And maybe your first speeding ticket was also the first time you realised that death comes to us all. Today, we are joined live from the O2 by Jack Whitehall.
Hello.
Hello.
It's my
Hello,
first
mate.
time
First
on this
time
podcast.
First time
That's
on
a
this
First.
My
podcast.
first time.
You've done quite a lot
When
of
I
other
do
podcasts.
another podcast that's about first times, I may talk about this experience.
Yeah,
When someone brings out a podcast that's about podcasts and it starts getting really meta.
That's bound to happen. There's
We'll
bound to be
reminisce
a
about this.
At some
podcast
point.
inception at some
Yeah.
point.
we should say that we're backstage.
At the
Where are we, Jack?
We're backstage at the O2.
Yeah.
I'm about to perform at the O2 in a dressing room. This dressing room, I've literally just had a memory of this dressing room, and I will share
Dressing
this
room
with you.
8.
This dressing room was the dressing room. The first year that I did the Brits, there was a number of ideas that I had that we tried out in the rehearsals. And often these ideas don't make it to the final show. This specific idea that I had was that Dua Lipa was performing with 80 women in bathing costumes and doing this very involved dance routine.
Yes.
That was the one that she ended up performing at the show and was amazing. Anyway, they told me the idea of it and the theme was these people in bathing suits and it was kind of like summer holiday. So I said, I think it would be funny if afterwards, when all of the dancers have left, when it comes to my bit, I'm wearing Speedos and I'm like full suit top half, Speedos bottom half, and to add to the humour,
Full tux on top.
full tux on top.
Okay.
I could have snagged a bollock in one of the
I remember
in
this.
the Speedos.
Yeah, I
you
remember
remember
this.
this? So I
Yeah.
had some plastic bollocks made up, which then arrived and they were disgusting, like droopy old man testicles.
No.
And I was like, am I going to do this? And I was like, well, we might as well try it in rehearsal and see if it feels weird. So in the middle of the rehearsal, like the first time that Dua Lipa was performing that song with all of the dancers, and there's hundreds of people there. There's like all the A&R people, the producers, ITV, and I put a towel around, did the quick changeover, tucked in the bollocks, and then the camera comes to me and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, Dua Lipa, what an amazing performance that was. Now we'll go to the next award, which is, and I'm doing it all, and the camera pulls out and reveals these testicles, and everyone was just utterly appalled. Like Dua Lipa was walking back and just caught like in the like her peripheral vision, me with my testicles out. It undermined her performance. It was leery and weird and creepy. And afterwards, I've never had it where like so many people swarmed on me so quickly to tell me that I would have to cut an idea. And I was like, no, don't worry. I am well aware that that is definitely getting
ITV
cut. That was
lawyers.
the worst idea ever. All the ITV lawyers, all of Dua Lipa's people. And
no.
The Met
I was like, I
Police.
have to go and apologise to her and just say that, this is a process where you try things out and some things don't work. And I remember peering my head round this door and she was in here with all of her friends and I was just like, I am so sorry to even have thought that might be a funny idea.
In front of her and all her mates.
Yeah, and I was like,
apologising for a
and
testicle.
holding the testicles still in my hand going, don't worry, these will not be anywhere near the show.
We could almost do that as the first time you ever got banned from putting your testicles near a British pop
the
star.
All
first
been
time. Then it was like, well, maybe we could do it behind Simon Cowell. And then, the one this year was that Shawn Mendes. Do you remember someone got Harry Styles tattooed on their face?
Yeah.
This year, and so I had an idea that we would do a joke saying that we'd found a fan that had got Shawn Mendes tattooed on his cheek. And
Yeah.
then the cheek is revealed to be an arse cheek. So we got a man to have Shawn Mendes' face stenciled onto his bottom. And again, we tried that in rehearsal. And there was a lot of like toing and froing about how much ass crack you were allowed to show on ITV. And it was this very complex negotiation where we were told that we weren't allowed anything more than like an inch of crack on screen. But then unfortunately Shawn Mendes' people were
weren't up
on the
for it.
floor when we did the rehearsal and saw it. And that was
They
kiboshed.
vetoed it.
Yeah, that one I would have done.
It sounds like most of your ideas got vetoed.
Yes, but you see, with these things, I think it's very important that it is a negotiation. So if there are some more outrageous ones, it tends to mean you get some of the other ones through.
Yes.
So you should always have a few ideas that are
too far.
So
Yeah.
that when they go, you cut that, you go, okay, I'll cut that and that, but I'm keeping that.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it seems like you're reasonable.
I came to the Brits this last year. Were all the acts in on who you were going to speak to and what you were going to say to them?
No, they weren't, because this year, because I know what it's like and I know how much the people from all of the music labels try to get you to cut everything. In the rehearsal, I do a fake script. So I do jokes that aren't the jokes that I'm going to do on the night. And so they must think this is the lamest script ever, like, because I do setups to jokes and then instead of punchlines, compliments, and they're like, the Americans are like, oh well, yeah, obviously that's what he would say about me, and then on the night, I'm just changing at the last minute. But it does make it quite nerve-wracking because you don't get to test doing it, and anything that you do want to test, you have to ask them to kill all the mics and make sure that it's not.
And you don't know how. With it being live as well, you don't know how spicy some of them are going to get.
Exactly,
Jessie from Little Mix, you bringing up the Jamaican accent springs to mind.
Did they not take that?
Everyone around was quite giggly, but she was clearly quite like, this is following me everywhere, but this is live, so I'm going to look like I'm...
I like that. I like those moments. The first time I've actually wanted to just quit on stage was when I did the British Fashion Awards.
You won a lifetime achievement, didn't you?
Fashion Icon Award. It's the hardest. I think it's the hardest gig I've ever had to do. It's the Royal Albert Hall. It's a fashion award show full of everyone from the fashion industry. It's very serious. It's very high end. I mean, it's an amazing event, and from a fashion point of view and from a kind of like the party that they throw is great, and it looks amazing, and it's very stylish and it's very cool. But for comedy, it's very difficult. So it was always a struggle to get them to laugh at jokes. The horror show one was about 4 years ago. Karl Lagerfeld was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, and the note that kept coming back when they read my script, they typed it out. It said, "Will Karl Lagerfeld find this funny?" And I said, that's not a way that you can judge comedy. If every joke has to make Karl Lagerfeld laugh, then
he was hardly known for his wicked sense of humour.
That's what I always say to you, Maisie, when I come to see you.
That's my feedback.
Will Karl Lagerfeld find this funny?
The front row was Karl Lagerfeld and Anna Wintour.
Tough crowd.
That's your front row.
I mean, Karl Lagerfeld and Anna Wintour as a front row, that is...
Did she have sunglasses on?
Those are two people who are literally well known for being stone-faced. They don't sort of smile at anything. No, and even in photos, so at comedy...
No.
Fashion is kind of like the opposite of comedy anyway, isn't it? Everything fashion is sort of the opposite of what comedy is.
It definitely felt like that night. And so it was so difficult. And the answer to the question, will Karl Lagerfeld find this funny, is no. He did not find any of it funny. Even if he had found any of it funny, the man didn't have like a face that was even able to contort in laughter by that point.
No.
I toiled up there for a while, and then I had this awful moment where I had to read out the nominations for the Menswear Designer of the Year. And as I was about to read them out,
you popped a fake testicle out.
I popped a fake testicle out. I was like, this is where to bring the testicles and Speedo joke back out. They'll love this. Will Karl Lagerfeld find that funny?
If you went anywhere near Karl with that, you'd be shocked.
Oh my God. With those swinging testicles.
This is their autumn-winter campaign.
So in my ear, they go, the next presenter isn't ready. And I went, oh God. And they went, you're going to have to fill. Filling is hard to do in a live show, and it's always horrible. And it's always, because you can't dip into a load of old material because they haven't laughed at any of the material you've written for them that night. What's the chances that they're going to laugh at the closing joke to your Edinburgh show from 4 years ago? So I just waffled and, talked to the audience a bit. And then they went, read out the nominees, but very slowly because she's still not ready. So then I started reading them out really slowly. I was like, so will it be Tom Ford? And then I was just like, love Black Orchid. I know that's not what this is, not about his sense, but he did a film this year, didn't he? Did anyone see it? I didn't, but I heard it was really good. Like that kind of material, just talking to them. Shit. Yeah. Get to the last nominee. And they were like, I'm afraid she's still not ready. It's Lady Gaga. She's had a wardrobe malfunction. So you just need to keep them entertained until she's finished, but it's nearly there. And then my comic brain starts working, and I'm like, Lady Gaga, okay, wardrobe malfunction. And I was thinking meat dress. And then I was like, I think we can do a joke here. And it's all formulating in my head. I hadn't worked out what the punchline to the joke was going to be, but I sort of had an inkling of where it might go. And so I was like,
this is sort of quick.
Yeah, it was coming. It was like
Rain Man.
It was forming. It was forming. A little meat joke. Malfunction with the meat joke. The meat's not ready, or the steak. Like there's some goal was going to pop out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm pretty confident that we can do the setup here. So I went, okay, our next guest presenter is Lady Gaga. And they all cheered. And I went, she has had a wardrobe malfunction. And then gearing up for the old punchline. And they went, she's ready now, bring her out. And I went, Lady Gaga.
Oh no.
So her introduction in front of 3,000 people at the Royal Albert Hall was Lady Gaga has had a wardrobe malfunction. Here she is. And she walked out, and I heard her turn to the stage manager and say, that man is a fucking asshole. And then she walked on, and I went to hug her, and she literally just walked straight past me.
Oh my God.
And I died. I died inside and had to stand there as she, like, just shaded me. And then,
wow.
And then the whole rest of the night was just absolutely. And then I went back and I did it for 7 years. That was the same one where I had where Rihanna was there. And I'd actually done, that was the second year I did it.
Please don't say you offended Rihanna as well.
Well, I didn't offend her, but I didn't like cover myself in glory. I'd actually done quite well that year, like well, as in like well for that room. Like 4 people laughed at like one of the jokes, and that's like killing it. And then afterwards there was an after party, and Rihanna was like the guest of honor, and they were like, Rihanna, I'd like to meet you. I was like, sweet. So they ushered me into this like VIP area of the after party, and I sat down with her, and I was like, I sort of forgot how to speak. I was like, what am I going to talk about? And then I just thought, oh wait, doesn't she do the coconut water adverts? So I thought that'll be a good opener. So I went, I've just got into coconut water. It's great. And she was like, okay, thank you. And then just ignored me for the rest of the night.
Like a coconut water.
Of all of her oeuvre of work, I don't know whether necessarily Vita Coco
she's not even aware she's in the advert for it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, of all the firsts we've had, the first time you offended
Got
Lady
shaded
Gaga.
by Gaga. This is just a series of stories about you offending pop stars, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not particularly, for a man who hosts the
Basically.
Brit Awards, you're not particularly popular in the music industry.
I know.
Oh, God.
That's
Have you seen
amazing.
her since?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen her since.
You haven't been
But
for
I'm
dinner.
sure. Yeah, no, I haven't been invited around yet.
You told me once a story about the Fashion Awards where you did a joke about Poundland or Lidl, and then you saw Anna Wintour whispering to Karl Lagerfeld.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, she's obviously explaining to Karl Lagerfeld what Poundland is.
Yeah, it is true. Poundland material, not for Karl Lagerfeld.
Not for Lagerfeld. Let's hear your first from your childhood, shall we?
I don't remember my childhood.
You don't have any
I've
memories
just
of your
been
childhood?
in the industry forever now.
You sort of
Like
were
an
born
Oliver
in the industry,
Twist
weren't you?
comedy.
I was at boarding school.
You were born into the industry.
Oh, born into the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
In a way, you were.
Well, I
because
mean, my first-
Nigel Havers was there when you were born.
Well, there's
wasn't
a
it?
good first.
Yeah.
The first person that I met was Nigel Havers.
Havers.
How is that? I mean, it's so on brand for me, but
In a
it's
dinner
the
suit
truth.
as well.
Yeah. I was born at the Portland Hospital in London, which is where all the
Shout out.
royals like pop out their sprogs.
Yeah.
And I was there. I wasn't there yet. My mum was there.
Why was Nigel Havers there?
Well, because
So what are we calling this? The first time you were born? Is that what we're going
first
for
time I
here?
was born, yeah. My dad and Nigel Havers were best friends. He's my godfather, and because my dad was his agent. And the first thing that's weird about it as well is that the gynecologist that delivered me had been speaking at a gynecological convention that evening, and he was in black tie. So when he arrived at the hospital, he was in black tie and put on his, robes,
Yeah.
and
Cloak?
gloves,
Yes, I think.
a cloak,
Yeah.
top hat. I don't know what you
His
deliver.
birthing cloak?
His birthing swag,
Yeah.
and started
Merch.
to deliver me. And then my dad had called Nigel Havers,
Of course, yeah.
who was also at some black tie event. So he arrived and he was also in black tie.
He was hosting the fashion awards.
And I think one of the nurses offered him gloves and asked him whether he wanted to help because they thought that he was the father. And probably thought that my father was the grandfather. So he was like, no, I'll
Was your dad in black tie?
He was not in black tie, but I imagine my
Was your
dad
mother
was
in
in a
black
suit.
tie?
My mother was in black tie. She was, yes. So I was delivered by two men in black tie, one of whom is Nigel Havers.
That's so on
I
brand.
mean, that
Chariots of
sounds
Fire.
like a... I know it's not, but it sounds like a made-up story, that,
It's like
doesn't
a dream.
it? That's
Well, I mean,
amazing.
I was quite young, so I can't
remember it.
But my mum says it's true. And a lot of my dad's stories, my mum calls him out on them not actually being true.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
What,
that one
just
I
sort of
think
like
she says
fabricated
is true.
truths? Just over-exaggerated?
I guess your dad was... I didn't realise this. Your dad was quite old when you... He's got an older dad, wasn't he?
He was an older dad, yeah.
How old was he when you were born?
Oh, wait. No,
Have you
I
got
to
older
do some maths.
siblings?
I have younger siblings.
The younger-
He
But he
must have
was
been like
married
40
before.
something
Oh,
when
He
you were
was
born?
married before.
40 something or older than that when you were born?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Daddy, what?
It's an older dad, isn't it?
No, older than that. Older.
50?
No, 49.
Was it?
48, yeah.
What?
It's like Mick
Yeah,
Jagger.
48.
I feel like there was
He's
someone in
not
every
really
class who had old parents, weren't there?
Yeah, I was that guy.
Yeah.
He was-
What were you like as a kid?
Quite precocious, quite energetic, liked attention, like
Did-
making
yeah.
people laugh.
Yeah.
No, really?
And then became a comedian and sort of
Did you,
found an
did you
outlet
become a
for it.
comedian
and
like Tom at a strangely young age?
10.
yeah, I was pretty young. When did you do your first gig?
16.
I was 15 then. I wasn't. I was 17, but
They
just
told
wanted to
me
one
when
up
I
Tom.
did my first weekend at the Comedy Store, they told me that I beat you. You previously held the record for the youngest.
Yeah, but I got more laughs.
Yeah.
Was yours a bit like the British Fashion Awards?
It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
300
Yeah.
Karl Lagerfelds.
yeah.
Tom
I
did his
turned
first
the
gig.
Comedy Store into the British Fashion Awards.
You did.
Shall we play our... we have a round to finish on
A
called...
lucky dip.
You're familiar
Sure.
with the Lucky Dip game?
Sure.
So, if you'd like to reach into this,
Yes.
so
What have you got, Jack? You've rummaged around in the box.
Well, it's the first time you ever threw a punch, but I have never thrown a punch. But I can tell you about the first time I've had a punch thrown at me.
Yeah.
When I was in Manchester and I was in a bar and I was a student and I ordered a Smirnoff Ice because I loved turbo shandies at the time. That was my drink of choice.
wait, remind us of a turbo shandy.
1 part beer to 1 part Smirnoff Ice. An exceptional drink.
Wow.
So I ordered the Smirnoff Ice element because I think I was probably just going to have that without the beer. Because I like turbo shandies, but I just really liked Smirnoff Ice. And one of the fellow patrons in the bar, who was a local, not a student, saw this and took against it and decided that he was going to call me a faggot. So he said it and I sort of ignored him and then he kept saying it. And he was, quite aggressive and his friends were finding it funny. So then, because I think I'd had a little bit too much to drink, I was like, I think the best way to diffuse this situation is for me to drunkenly grab this man and kiss him on the lips. So I grabbed him by the face and I kissed him on his lips and he punched me in the face and he broke my nose and he broke my tooth. And then he was dragged out of the bar and I
Oh my God.
was sort of left there.
Oh my
But-
God.
He broke your nose.
Well,
Is it still broken?
No, the tooth is.
Is it a fake
Shit.
tooth? Is that a fake tooth?
No, it's just you just chipped it. But I think I win. I know you're giving me a lot of pity, but I win because he can't tell that story. He can't say I kissed a bloke and I punched him because he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
homophobe.
Yeah.
So
I kissed a man and then punched him.
this guy kissed me in the pub, and
the
I punched
barber.
him. And so
Yeah.
I sort of think I win.
Absolutely. When you
At
said
the
that
time,
you're-
I didn't feel like I'd won.
No, of course.
No.
When you said,
I
oh,
got
my
the Smirnoff
response was
Ice
to-
on the house though.
You got a Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
Well,
It's probably
There we
quite.
go.
It's probably quite
Paid off
good
then.
disinfectant
Yeah, it's very
Smirnoff
good,
Ice
yeah.
for the
I
tooth.
love that was your reaction. I'll just snog him.
Yeah, I think it's because I tried it once before when someone was being a bit homophobic, and I didn't get punched, and it
It's
really
a good
worked.
response.
And you're
It
still
really
with that
was.
man, aren't you?
Yes,
Very happy together.
And
we're,
then-
we're very happy together, aren't we?
That's how we met. Yeah.
Oh my God. But you've never thrown a punch.
No, never thrown a punch. No,
Oh.
not yet.
You're not a
Tom?
very aggressive man, are you?
No, not really.
No.
Have you been punched?
I'd gouge, I think, if I was.
You said that
involved.
like
You
you.
gouge.
You imagine I have been punched.
I don't know.
I've been
No, I
punched-
would imagine you two have punched.
You think we've punched?
Never punched.
Never punched.
Never punched?
No. I've been punched.
You've
Have
punched
you?
above your weight. The Comedy Store.
That's a fair point, yeah.
Who punched you?
A man from my school. I say man, a boy. I was also a boy.
He's probably a man now.
He's probably a man now. Yeah, I was involved in a scuffle over a lady. I say lady, girl. Yeah, and then I had a fight in a bathroom with this guy. We're probably both about 11.
Why were you in a bathroom?
Because he said, like, "Can I have a word with you in the bathroom?" And then we went into the bathroom, and he punched me, and then pushed my head into the sink.
Did she pick you or the other bloke?
Neither of us.
Oh.
She left. She changed school. She wasn't at the school for very long.
And became a lesbian.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
never ever.
That's the
spoken to
only
someone.
like scuffle. You're from the north. You've been in some fights, I reckon.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How many fights have you been in?
No, not many. Not many. But it's not punches. It's like more like you were saying, it's a gouge. That's
Scratch.
Scratch.
Girls in a club, they
A
gouge.
cat slap. Have you ever been slapped?
I don't know why, but I definitely just went to be like, you've defo been slapped.
I would
I feel
have.
like I've
I
been
feel like
slapped.
you've been
I
slapped
probably have
before.
been slapped. I just can't think of a time.
Gaga slapped you. There we go.
That's insane. That story about Gaga.
That is a great.
I feel like
Makes me
I feel
a
like there
bit
needs
sick.
to be a reunion.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
we've
see
got
if-
Gaga coming on the podcast next week,
Yeah.
so we'll get her
put in a
version
good
of
word.
events.
Put in a good word.
No, but also when you say like, there's way more people who've gone further with Gaga. Like she gets taken the mick out of a lot.
I think
Yeah.
it must be something to do with Americans. They're not. The American stars are a bit more precious than the
Was
British
she
stars.
was she
aren't they?
not at the Golden Globes getting awards when Ricky Gervais was hosting?
Yeah,
it?
she
'Cause
got roasted by him.
Yeah, he'd
Yeah.
gone in on her.
Yeah.
And like she had. Did you see how many times she gave the same answer to
Oh yeah.
She was
What
being
was that?
interviewed about A
Strange.
Star Is Born, and she kept saying, there can be 100 people in the room, and you just need one person to believe in you, and that was Bradley Cooper. But she said this answer at like 45 different press things.
Yeah.
She's great. I'm a big fan. She
I'm a
sounds
big
like
fan.
a real hoot.
A real hoot.
Where is she now, Jack? That's the question we ask. Whereas you're sat at the O2, about to go on.
Where's Lady Gaga?
Yeah, nowhere. What's she doing?
I don't know.
Have you got any
She's doing the
exciting
Comedy Store
people
tonight.
coming to see you? Have you got any exciting people coming to see you? Anna coming?
My parents are
Obviously,
coming
Carl can't be
tonight.
with us, but
I don't know who's
I
coming.
just gave
David
you
Walliams and John
an
Bishop
answer.
came last night.
My parents are coming.
Oh, your parents. Oh,
Yeah.
is your mum coming tonight?
She's coming tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom's mum.
Tom's mum.
Wow.
From
Actually, I
Anna
regret-
Winter
I
to
regret-
Oh my
Tom's
God, I
mum.
better go get ready. If she's coming.
Yeah, I shouldn't have
What
brought that
time's
up.
she arriving? Does she want to get a quick bite to eat at Chiquitos before? Tell your dad to wait in the car.
There's been a joke on the tour about my mum being.
A joke that you do in your set, to be fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, a while ago, I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, is this
about
your fit mum?
Fit mum
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
I've still not seen Mrs. Lucy. Is she fit?
Well, she'll be here in about half
Very
an hour.
impressive woman.
Really?
Very,
On the
very
eye.
impressive woman.
Nice way to end.
Yeah, let's just dedicate this episode to Mrs. Lucy.
I'm going to get my dad to punch you in the face. If you try and
We'll try and kiss him.
kiss him, and then he'll
Okay.
punch you. Yeah.
Jack Whitehall, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe on Global Player or wherever you get your podcasts from. Goodbye from us.